making good bread to 80 or 90% is very easy. Just follow a recipe. Taking it from 90 to 91, 92, 93, every degree closer to perfection is exponentially harder. Bread and life and business, right? The same is simple, but it's difficult, and you just have to try to get 1% better if you can.
All right, well, we're rolling already. So, welcome to the O2O podcast with Nick Porreca and Mano Wen. I'm here today with Alberto, the owner, operator, founder of Brug Bakery.
Yeah, not the founder. At least my wife and I, we bought it when we came here to Hawaii.
That's right.
It started in the 1970s, but yeah,
That's right.
We're the founders of ManaSandwiches.
That's right.
It's also a new venture.
I'm remembering because I have not seen you for 8
years.
8 years, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
We last saw each other when my buddy Mano and I were doing a kind of a proof of concept, and we followed you around for a day. We spoke about your business, which at the time was already Brug Bakery. We visited 4 locations then?
Yeah, we did.
We ate a lot of amazing bread, and that was an awesome experience. So we're here today to kind of like catch up with you and ask you a little bit more about how you started everything. So when you first started, what year was it?
We came to Hawaii in 2014. Brugge started July 2013.
Okay.
So the story goes that my wife's best friend at that time, he started this business in Hawaii. There was a long story behind, but long story short is like there was this amazing bakery that they were not capable to run because they were living in Japan. They didn't know the language, they didn't know the local culture, the business. Ins and outs and difficulties of Hawaii and the US. So we came to just help them a little bit manage the situation, hopefully make it stable, and then we can just move on to the next.
And where did you come here from?
We're moving from China, although my wife's from Japan and I'm from Spain. So
okay, so that's so many countries involved with
already.
this decision. How did you and your wife meet?
We met in Shanghai. At that time, she was already a business owner there. I was working with a Japanese flower design company, and I was also studying in a university in Shanghai. And we met, and yeah, the rest is history.
What part of Spain are you from?
I'm from the northern part. It's a city called León. I'm from a small town near to León.
What is León known for?
León is in the northwest. It's kind of the cold side of Spain. We have a local tourists, meaning Spaniards. We don't have a lot of that international wave of people, but usually we have a lot of Europeans coming to escape from the cold, so they go more to the beach, Mediterranean side, and I'm more from the mountains and cold. And
so not as many tourists.
Not so many tourists, but beautiful and good for food. And it's
what's it known for?
It's known for history, and it's kind of one of those root places where Spanish culture kind of develops from, right? It's one of the earliest kingdoms. León was the first parliamentary. It was not a democracy, but it was there was a parliament within the kingdom where there was more people represented. So it's the oldest parliament in the world. It was founded in León. Second one came in England, and the third one, yes.
So when Spain was still a monarchy, they had their own kind of parliament on the side to give people more the power.
Yeah, Spain was broken in different kingdoms in the north.
Okay.
And all of those reconquered Spain or the Iberian Peninsula.
Yeah.
All of them, some of them became Portugal. The other one was Kingdom of Aragon, Castilla, León, Galicia. They're all different kingdoms, and they all conquered from north to south. And after the whole Iberian Peninsula was regained back, they unified, and then Portugal eventually separated and became 2 different kingdoms, Portugal and Spain.
Okay, I didn't know the history of that.
Yeah,
I love history, but so are you kind of a history buff, or is that just
I like
knowledge?
History. No, it's both. It's common knowledge, but I also love history. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So you're a kid. You're in León, Spain.
Yeah.
And then you decide to go to China for school. How did
I mean, if we're from León to Sevilla in the south, Seville,
I've been
a
there.
beautiful city, and I went there to study art, flower design. That's where my family business at home. They have flower shops and garden centers.
Okay.
So I was kind of the oldest son and the one who was kind of expected to take over the family business. So it's like you can study what you want, but there is something built here, so might as well learn a little bit about it.
Right.
And I studied, and I like it very much. And the input I got by my teachers, it was that I was good at it, so they encouraged me to travel and to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved to Germany first to learn flower art, first in Berlin, then in Munich.
Yeah.
Then I went to flower championships. I represented Spain in a European contest of flower art. Yeah. And then I was a time where I thought, like, the artistic side of things, I really love it, but you really need to have a business or something to back up all you have.
Like implement.
Right.
Yeah.
So I talked to my sponsor, who was a big trading company from the Netherlands. And their advice was just go to China. Everything is happening there. It was right after the expo, so China was booming. So learn Chinese. Maybe we can open a trading company between the Netherlands and China. You can be the office person in China. And I was like, wow, sounds great. So let's go to China, learn the language, and start to do business.
Right.
So before I did that, I started working just to know kind of what the flower market was there with a Japanese company.
Okay.
And since I was already working with the Japanese expats and I was already in those circles, then I met my wife, and yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you met your wife over there, and then at what point do you start? Because what you're telling me about your art background is kind of interesting, because I see so much intentional aesthetic at the Brug locations now. Like, how much does that play into the way you think about the presentation of your company?
Yeah, it's not accidental. I always loved design and art, and I was always fascinated by Japanese art and culture.
Yeah.
And the more I studied, the more I work already in Asia, but with a Japanese company. That all helped when we moved to Hawaii and we started to work at Brug, and there was so much value I could bring to the table just from that design standpoint, from aesthetics on the website, on the company, on the logo. So my first role was naturally taking, let me handle the marketing, because I think I can do a good job at this.
Right.
So that's what I started doing at Brug.
Yeah, that's changing now, right?
Yeah.
With AI and have you played with any of that stuff?
Oh, I play a lot with it. I have fun with since years ago.
What do you think of
it? It's great. It's a tool. It's a tool, and it's improving. It's changing. It's gonna be. I mean, it's fascinating, and I don't want to get too caught in just because you can do this with AI, you should be doing it with AI. But I definitely use AI 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. And years ago, I already used it. We pioneered a machine, kind of image recognition device that you can come with your tray of pastries and then just send it automatically to the POS. And I had it. It's a company from.
So it just charges the system based on an image recognition.
Right.
What you
people came in with the tray and it already recognized the products on the tray and send it to the POS. So it's just $7.35 or.
So does that save you in employee costs because you don't have to have somebody just sitting there, or?
Not really. I thought that it might allow maybe one cashier be able to take care of 2 registers, but I quickly saw that was not what, it might be good for business, but it's not good for Hawaii. It's not good value for the people. They feel like, it's too much supermarket, too much artificial. Like, people want to talk. They want to be heard. They want to comment if there is any problem. Oh, auntie, let me replace this bag for you or something. That's so Hawaiian. I saw that.
Yeah, it's about community, right?
Correct.
It's about community.
Yeah. It was a cool feature, but I thought it will detract from the customer experience.
That's interesting. Like, you have to balance those two things, right?
Right.
You're, as a business owner, you're always thinking about efficiencies and ways to save money, but you might lose money because it's not culturally appropriate to make that decision.
Right.
That's really interesting. So this AI thing, one of the things I've noticed about it from a visual perspective is I'll try to make images and like storyboards for video and film. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is so good. But then I look at it and I'm like, it's not actually good yet. Like a lot of it.
Right.
It's just amazing what you can do that you couldn't do 6 months ago. But that's not the same as it being objectively good
Mm,
from like an artistic point of view.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't use it so much for design, and I don't really
Okay.
connect with the design element of AI. To me, the one I use it the most is just I'm not a native speaker. I write a lot, email. Sometimes I put a whole paragraph, and it's like, okay, nobody want to read this. Summarize it to the key points, and then shrink, but all the information that I wanted and it was important, and then I send it. And that, yeah,
That's what Mono uses it for too.
yeah, to curate the information I send.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm like, this is too much.
You're right.
Like we have to, because I find, even for myself, not just Mono, I'm not picking on Mono, but sometimes I find it's the same as the imagery that I would design with it. It's like, okay, this is amazing that it was able to do all this, but then I have to look at the text objectively
Correct.
and go, is this good? Does this actually make sense? Is it better than I could have written it myself? But it's so much better than a blank page a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
To just start. Okay, so you you come to Hawaii. You take over ManaSandwiches.
So Brug, yeah, we firstly came here to manage. Then the store closed down because it was in the old Shirakia. The owners, they said they just want to get out of here. It's a difficult market. Volume is big. People come and go to the bakery, but it's not really profitable business. And they said we just want to close. But we already have a relationship with the workers, with the managers, with the people who believe on us, because at the beginning it was hard, like every business.
Yeah.
And all of that people that were really hard with us, we didn't want to just say like, well, okay, sorry, I guess they just close the sink and they're not gonna put money. So we say like, let me buy it and let's relaunch it. But there are things has to be done differently. So to do differently, you need to own it. Otherwise, you can't just do what you want, right?
Right.
And that's what we did. We just bought it and opened the first one, then the second location, and
Where'd you get the money to buy it in the first place?
we had to borrow everything we had, and we had to ask a help with my wife's parents and just borrow everything we could and just sign. And well, we were able to get a loan here with a local bank using the assets of one of the previous investors as collateral in Hokkaido, because they were already having a partnership with a Hokkaido bank. So they had like a, A, B, C persons are gonna pay, but in case everything, there is still somebody who's gonna, put the money in case. So the bank was able to lend us money. And then we did a partnership with other people, right? Like we just got outside investors. It's like a silent partner. They put the money, we also put money, and then we just put the work. And
how did you do those deals with the investors? Was it like I'll pay you back with interest, or did they get a percentage of ownership?
They get a percentage. Yeah, they get a percentage, but it's also like say 5 years, and after that we were gonna buy it back, or kind of things like that. Yeah.
And it all worked out.
It worked out, yeah.
Do you still owe anybody money?
We owe money to the bank, yeah, because we kept on growing.
You keep borrowing every time.
So we keep yeah. We still have a lot of things to pay. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have like a line of credit that you use to offset things as you go, or do you just get new loans?
Just new loans and consolidate and new loans, and just pay back a previous one. We just finished the one that we opened our second store, Porreca. That one is already done. The van that we bought to do the farmers market when we first started, and just one goes and a new one comes.
Right.
And usually the new one is bigger. But yeah, we don't get ourselves too much in debt. Like we don't play with money that we don't have. We are very financial discipline and very, it's scary. It's scary.
Yeah, it is. You get in too deep really fast. So you look for the lowest interest loan available at the time you need the money instead of high interest credit cards.
Correct. No. We've never done credit card loans or line of credit, those things. We just go to the bank and say, we have this much cash. You see the cash flow. You see the statement. You see how we operate. We're going to open one more location. There is this much value on it. It's market.
Yeah.
Proposition. Would you lend us money?
Right.
Yes or no?
Right.
Usually yes.
So you have how many locations now?
So Brug has 5 locations now. 6th one is coming. We're working on it now.
Wow. Okay. So when we last talked, when we were following you around, when Mono was following,
we just opened the 4th at that time.
We had opened the 4th, which was in Manoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, where was the 5th open?
No, 5th one was Kahala.
Okay. Oh, in the mall?
Behind the mall, behind Kahala Mall.
That's
like
right.
a
I think I've
close.
seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 5 locations. So let's take the Kahala opening, right? Since
Mm-hmm.
that's the most recent one that you did.
Mm-hmm.
How much, and you can decline to answer this if you want, but
Yeah.
how big of a loan do you have to take out to open a new location?
That one was open with a partner because it's a bigger location.
Okay.
So we have a local and
But
investor from
it's a
Japan
pretty
partner.
big
Yeah.
chunk of change to be able to.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of costs are associated with
Yeah,
opening a location?
it's over $500,000 to open a bakery. So that's the answer. And the new one we're having in Capole is even more than that because we have bigger equipment, it's a bigger build out, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really a lot of capital to be able to repay by selling $3 pieces of bread.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's
So
economy of scale, extreme economy
the
of scale.
math is very scary, and maybe that's why I think 4 bakeries have opened since we talk here close by, or 5. But the only one who has endured is a big Korean chain of bakeries that have super deep pockets, and they're not gonna go bankrupt. But even medium size, even big size bakeries have opened in Hawaii. 2 years after that, they're negotiating with the landlord. How can we get out of the lease?
So like on a film set,
Yeah.
you would never guess what the most expensive department is usually on a film set, either first or second. Like what do you think it would be on a film
On a film set?
Yeah, like like a movie or a TV show. What do you think? Like always the first or second, maybe third, but always the top 2 or 3.
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to guess.
Transportation.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed it.
Driving to and from set, drivers for equipment and gear, all these guys who are making sure things get there on time in the right way at the right time, efficiently, safely, people, gear, everything. So for you, when you open a new location, what is like the surprising expense? Because I would think like interior design.
Interior design is big, yeah, because now we're using materials that so we have we work with a Japanese designer, so it's particular. He takes pride on that, which we love because we are part of the portfolio of successful companies that he shows, and
Plus you have an art background, so you
value that. So we value that, and that's a cost. But equipment is always a big cost, and it's not only just the equipment, but you have to install it here. Electrical, do all the drawing, just connections and upgrading the grid. If you need if you need more power and you need another like not generator, I don't know exactly the name, but if you need more power in the place, it could easily say like, oh, just $30,000 for these, and just to put this new 25 amp connection in the wall with the breaker is another 4,000, and then you add, and the AC and electrical engineering said that you need another structure here for more ventilation, so that's another $14,000, and then you just start adding numbers, and it's like why would someone do this?
Right. Yeah. So it's gear, and so do you still bake the bread fresh every day?
Yeah, each location.
And every location makes it fresh. So all that equipment to bake the bread, you're not just relying on one location.
Right.
All that equipment you have to buy.
So the good thing of having a central kitchen is that you can open multiple locations, but you don't need to duplicate equipment. But once you duplicate equipment in every kitchen, you have a lot of failing points.
Yeah.
And it's very hard. It's very hard to scale and expensive. And
what's the value of that for you? Why did you decide to
because of the quality.
Yeah.
And as you just said, like the biggest expense is transportation and make sure things get in there in time. So there is also a cost saving. It's more expensive on some way, but it's also more efficient. We can adjust more on the go. Like if we see production is kind of selling out, and the baker can just turn on the mixer and make some more stuff. Just
right
cook
there.
A little bit more.
And it's just one room over. It's through a door.
And it also allows to be like fire break. If something goes wrong with toast bread today at Kahala, and we have to stop the batch, it's one batch of one store, but all 5 locations are not affected.
Man,
but if you have
a central kitchen,
if you have a central kitchen, you are out of it for all locations.
Yeah, I was working in Indiana earlier this year, and somebody started this business where they did a central kitchen that was only remote ordered food, and they started a website, and it was every type of food.
Okay.
You could order any type of food you want. You could order Mexican food, you could order American food, you could do whatever you want. And then it was all essentially like a Uber Eats style service, right? Through this one website. And so you would go on these different menus and things, but it's all coming from the same place. I'm like, man, I can only imagine
That's smart.
if something, it's really smart, but if something goes wrong in that one kitchen,
Yeah.
you're,
Everything goes down, right?
you're screwed. So they must have like backups on backups or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. All right. So so you're opening location 6 now.
Yeah.
Where's that?
That couple A.
Couple A, you said
Couple
that.
A clubs, yeah.
Is that the only part of the island that you don't really have a presence in right now?
No, we have a lot of like all Kaneohe side and still yeah, all that side we don't have any shops there. There's a lot of malls that we don't have stores.
So you need one in Kaneohe. That's right by my house.
Right.
Mall.
Only if it was easy to hire and train and maintain people there. Of course, we would like to, but also because all of the constraints that it has the business, we are very picky and more, on the conservative side.
Yeah.
That's why also we created Mana, because it's a different concept and we expected that might have more scalability potential. But we also run into different kinds of problems. So we also have other businesses, other ideas, other products coming. We're just,
Like what?
Like a lot of things. Like we are importing Japanese strawberries. We are
What? He's a true entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Mano?
We're doing a lot of stuff that
you can't talk about right now.
No.
So you have to kill me if you.
No, I don't have anything that I wouldn't talk about, and everybody knows what we do. Anybody that knows us knows what we do. Yeah. I think there is other types of snacks and foods and fresh fruits and things that could merge on the value of local produce, but give it an added value and have healthier and locally produced snacks of high quality and healthier that also help local economy. I think those are like 3 circles, and now we are working to see where those 3 circles merge. Okay. And then try to work on that sweet spot.
Got it. So by the 3 circles, you mean 3 sort of like avenues for food consumption and delivery?
Yeah, like where what other types of products or product lines we could do.
Yeah. But it's all based around quality and health.
Yeah, all based around quality and something that you will feel proud to take to somebody, or you will be able, or we will be happy if your kids did it.
Yeah.
Right, like it's all around that, something that you're happy to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we talked last time, or when you and Mano were talking, you focus so much on people. That the people that worked for you were the most important part of running a successful business. I'm sure that's good and bad. You only had positive things to say last time because I think that's who you are and you're a positive guy. Yeah. But how difficult is it to open a new location, to scale is essentially what we're talking about. We talked about scaling a lot last time too, which was cool. But to scale into a new location for you, how difficult is it to find the right people?
It's everyone has the same challenge, right? Everybody's has difficulties to hire and keep and train and retain talent. And we've been very lucky to have very good people that have worked for a long time. And it's just there has to be a high turnover, I think, at the beginning. Always like you hire 30 people. From those 30, only 10 stays. Yeah. And you're hiring back 20. Right. And then from those 20, 15 are gone. And you have a solid group of 15. And then just hire another 15, go down 10. Yeah. And then you always losing somebody, but it's a process. And it will take years to have a stable team that works at that location.
Has the difficulty... Has it become more difficult or less difficult since COVID to find good people?
Find people is already difficult. Good people is just a little bit lucky, and but you kind of have to look also for the people that kind of you think will marry well into your culture and the culture of the people they're working with. Yeah. Because more than good or bad. It's good or bad for what you do.
Right.
Right.
I heard it called the right person in the right seat.
Correct. Yeah.
But has it changed culturally, like the workforce since COVID? Because I've talked to some people who say people just don't want to work as hard
Mm-hmm.
since COVID. Like they don't have
Mm-hmm.
the same expectation for
Mm.
themselves. Have you noticed that or not really?
You know, it's part of the conversation, so it's there. And because that's something I cannot change, if I give you my honest
Yeah.
answer, I don't feel it as much.
Mm.
Um, Maybe because I am a little bit one step more removed from the
Yeah.
hiring and training process. Could
Sure.
be. So it could be a little bit of, myopic for me to think that it's not harder.
Right.
We always tend to feel that it's harder. All pastime was better, but I don't know. It was hard and it's still hard. It's just change. People's expectation change, but it also changed their abilities and capabilities, right? So
It's kind of like the way we look at history, I feel like,
yeah.
too, is that we always feel like,
Mm,
oh, with the good old days, right?
yeah.
Things are so much harder now, but that's
Right.
not always true.
That's not necessary, and they have different skills, right? They definitely work differently. They are they have less spirit of sacrifice for a company, right, or for the work, but they're more tech savvy and they're more willing to try different things. And you tell them this is change, and they say, okay, because I guess they are more into the smart. I mean, that's the nature of their life. More just things come and go,
Right.
and older people, they were more sacrificial and they invested more of themselves in your company. But also, once we learn to do it one way, just don't change it, right? And
They
that
don't want
has
to change.
right.
Yeah.
So everything has pros and cons.
I never thought about that. You're right. The younger generation right now is much more malleable. They're
Right,
able. They're more dynamic. They're willing to change.
right,
Fly
right.
because they're used to it. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
Interesting. So, what did your parents do?
They still work.
Yeah. What?
Both of them here, so they
They're
have
here?
no, they came to
Oh.
visit. I mean, here in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody is lucky enough to say both their parents
Yes. Yes.
still with us. So
When
yeah,
you were a kid.
they work. They have my dad retired from his teaching part of the business, but he still manages his garden center.
Yeah.
And my mom still does flower shops and flower design. But
Mm.
yeah, hopefully they're gonna get retired within 1 or 2 years.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's right. You said flower design. You
Yeah.
told me that before. I always find it interesting, like what people's parents did
Right.
and how you use that in your own life, because most people don't do exactly what their parents did. It used to be that we all just, our last names in a large part were based on what our parents did, right? But now you've taken like your mom's career and flower design and everything, and you've implemented that part of it. Sounds like using the artistic, and then I feel like your dad being a teacher, you took a lot of through osmosis, like your ability to relate to people, and care about people, which is something you talked so much about last time. It's a big part of it for you, right?
Oh no, definitely they're the two biggest examples and and inspiration and derived from my parents and from my grandparents, like the whole family spirit and everybody that remember. I still think about them so much. I think so much of who I am today is still mimics values and ideas and things that I saw them doing. Not necessarily teach me, but I just embody what they did. Yeah.
Right, because we like absorb so much before we even realize we're learning.
Correct.
So you have a closely knit family then in Spain.
Yep.
Are your grandparents still alive?
No, none of them.
Okay.
Not the grandpas, only the uncles.
Yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 37, 36. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot how old I am. I never think about how old.
So when we talked like 7 or 8 years ago,
I
you
was
were
30.
like,
Yeah.
that's crazy, man.
I'm from the 88, so just make math.
Got it. So yeah, that's
36.
Yeah,
37.
You turned 37 this year.
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
September.
Okay. Yeah.
13.
So you'll turn 37.
36.
So you did a lot in a short amount of time. I mean, you were in your late 20s. You were running a business already.
Yeah, I was living in Hawaii with kids and running a business. The other side of the world.
What kind of advice would you have to for a young guy starting a family and starting a business simultaneously in your 20s. How did you balance it all? How do you balance it all now?
I don't know.
You're just running at it.
Yeah, just run at it every day, right? Just do one thing at a time, and you're never doing 100 things. You're always just doing one thing, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next, and just try to do them all. And if you didn't do it, then tomorrow you start where you left it, and just do as much as you can. Be honest, be vulnerable, accept that you're gonna do mistakes, you're gonna upset people, and so many times it's gonna be your wife. And then just apologize and try better and harder next time. But yeah, just keep. I mean, the first thing is that family has to come first, like really family first guy or values, that where you have to sacrifice a lot from family when you're starting a business, and hours are endless, but the stability of the family is core to your success as a person, and your success as a businessman is going to be predicated on your success as a person. So it's just one more wing of it. So to have a stable person, you need to have a stable life around you. So your wife has to be happy, your kids have to be happy and well nourished and educated and balanced, and following routines, and try to make it home dinner every day and sit down at the table with them and look into the eyes, and no tablet at that time, right? Like, be present for each other.
It sounds so simple, but so many of us fail at that.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Part of that is poor prioritization, because we don't have in our minds that, like, what are the priorities? It really is like 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can make all these decisions you're talking about on the fly in the moment based on what your preset value system is, right? I think, at least for me, I lose sight of that on a day-to-day basis a lot of times. I mean, not that I don't know that my family is the most important, but
right.
when it comes to like decision making daily,
100%. It's difficult. Usually simple things are difficult. That's why we all have a hard time. But just gotta work hard on those.
Yeah,
the basics. Family first, and then work hard and learn and repeat.
Simple things are difficult. I like that statement. That makes me think of bread.
Right. Exactly.
What's difficult about something as simple as making bread?
That every day the conditions change, right? And environment change, and you need to adjust every day. And if you did it good yesterday and work hard yesterday, doesn't mean that that's going to translate into good bread today. Today you have to do it again and start from scratch again. And
why?
Because you make fresh bread every day, right?
Right, but what are the variables that affect daily bread making?
Weather, the string of, if it's hotter, if it's colder, if somebody left the AC on last night and the table is colder, and you mix the dough and put it on the table to prove, and you tell your workers you have to be 30 minutes of bulk rice, then you cut it, divide. But today it's cold, and in 30 minutes it didn't rise, so you're underproofing, and the bread is going to be dense. Today the AC is hot because the mall left their AC on, and our kitchen was hot for the whole night, and the bread is proving faster, and it's overproof, and it has, is weak and kind of collapses into itself. And so you have to you do the same thing, but there are things, because we are not in a lab, so there are things that change. Even if it's done on a lab, sometimes you're dealing with a crop, right? That you have different vintage of a grape, even though it's the same brand, 2008, 2009, it's slightly different, right? So wheat also, maybe a year has, it has a little bit more protein, or maybe this one was mixed with, has a slightly lower protein. They always try to make it consistent for you, but it feels weaker. So maybe a little bit, you need to add a little bit more for flour, or a little bit less water, or there is making good bread to 80 or 90% is very easy. Just follow a recipe. Taking it from 90 to 91, 92, 93, every degree closer to perfection is exponentially harder.
That's exactly how it is in like athletics.
Yeah.
Like once you improve, when you first start to learn a sport, you improve super rapidly.
Right.
and then you get into that
plateau.
Oh man, you get really, really good. You get into that upper echelon.
Yeah.
You improve by like 0.5%, and you're like
Yeah.
exponentially better, right?
Right.
You're just like, oh my God, you're a totally different player.
Right.
So that's interesting that you look at bread the same way.
Yeah, bread and life and business, right? The same, because that's where we came from to eat, right? Like it's simple, but it's difficult, and you just have to try to get 1% better if you can.
Yeah.
And
incrementally
yeah.
incrementally better every day.
Mm-hmm.
What was you talk so much about family and that being a value of value to you.
Mm-hmm.
What was the hardest, kind of most challenging thing in the last few years with your family? You were mentioning it a little bit before we started rolling, but you were separated from your wife.
Right.
Like
it was almost a year. Yeah.
not intentionally, not
No.
separated.
Yeah, no, we didn't split or anything.
Yeah.
It was just as we are getting, because no, I'm an immigrant,
Right.
so it came as a investor visa, and then in the process of changing that to a green card, I did I left the country. When I came back, my process got canceled, and I had to reapply once you're canceled. They are much more strict to think about, why did they cancel him? So we had to reapply in a different way. So I had to move back to Spain almost for a year and just work remotely. And she was here, and the kids came with me. And it was one of the hardest time of our life and our relationship and our work. But, from there, my kids connected more with Spain. They learned more Spanish. We learned a lot of stuff from the hardship through.
What was your strategy for staying connected with your wife? I know I've been traveling a lot over the last few years, weeks at a time, not a year. But my wife and I got into this routine during really busy travel seasons where we'd commit like 30 minutes a night, have a phone call, 30 minutes every night, and that seemed to keep us more connected. Because if you're not doing life with somebody, you start to just naturally kind of drift. Did you guys have a strategy?
Yeah, something like that. It became a strategy because the kids were young. I called her when I put them to sleep so she could sing them a song and go to bed, listening to her mom's voice every night.
Yeah.
And after that, we just talk for a little bit and a little bit calm. We just made the time for each other.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You have such a positive, like, I would call it like growth mindset. Because every time I try to ask you about something that's hard, you always frame it in a positive way, which I really appreciate. But it seems like you do it naturally. Is that something that you had to kind of develop over time? Or is that just who you are?
Just who I am. I just see the good side, and there is a bad side, but learn from it, right? And make something good out of it. It's just how I am.
The water bottle is half full.
It's
right?
half full all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
That just comes naturally to you, huh?
Yep.
In that same vein, I'm going to ask you to be negative for just a second.
Okay.
Potentially.
Yeah.
No, not actually negative. But did you have ideas when you started as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, that you really thought would work that didn't work? Or has everything just worked?
No. I mean, I do a lot of mistakes constantly. Yeah. A marketing promotion with a soccer club here that I had in mind, and I wanted to do it through enhancing the charitable way and try to create like a scholarship. I had this great idea to just create a Brugge scholarship for a soccer team where a lot of their players that they are not in a good financial situation, their parents, they can play soccer for free. So I wanted to pay for those people's tuition in their soccer club and call it a scholarship, a Brugge scholarship. And that didn't work. And I do a lot of mistakes every day, and I forget a lot of things. Yeah. And I hire wrong people that they were not good, and I didn't see it. And I do a lot of mistakes. Yeah. So nothing has gone streamlined.
I guess that's where the growth mindset comes from. Like, you can't really decide to be positive unless you're doing so under negative
Right.
circumstances, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it's easy to be positive.
Right.
If good things are happening all the time,
Yeah, then
it's easy.
yeah.
No problems. But so so the youth soccer team, it just didn't work out.
Not as I thought about it.
Right.
And that was just to bring an example, right? That I think right now. But there is not too many things that go in the long term wrong, because what goes wrong is I also frame it in the long term. So I try to implement something, and 1 month from now it didn't give me that result, but I still don't count it as negative.
Right.
I just found one more way how not to do it, and I just have to figure out a way how to do it.
Right.
And I fail 5 times, I find 5 ways that are not leading to that answer.
That reminds me of Mano and I were interviewing Egan Inouye the other day, and he was talking about that's how he approached. He would spar with this like known UFC legend, one of the Gracie, Renzo Gracie, and he would spar with him over and over again. And every single time he would spar with him, he would get defeated on like one of Renzo's moves. But then he would go back in his mind and figure out what the appropriate counter would have been. So then the next time they sparred, he wouldn't get defeated by that move, but then he would pull out another move that would defeat him. And he did this however many dozens of times until finally he actually had a match with him, and he's able to beat him on points because he had figured out how to just defeat all the counters.
Right.
And he may not have even been better than him at that point.
Right.
It's up to Mano would know.
He says he wasn't, but he won because of the technical.
Because he just technically knew how to defeat each thing over time. So, what's next? That's my last question. Where do you feel like you go from here? And I guess even longer view, farther out, is like, how does this all sort of like end for you? Do you want to sell this as a business one day? Have you not even thought about that yet? Like, what's your exit strategy?
The honest answer is I don't know, and I'll keep it open, not because I don't want to commit to something. It's just because what makes more sense on the moment and how everything flows, then we will try to do the best for us, for the people working with us, for the brand, for the stores, the customer. I mean, what is the best thing to do, and we'll go from there. I would like to grow the business, and I don't feel like my goal is not to just try to make a business, make X amount of dollars and sell it and retire it. I really hope that I can continue working for a long time. Of course, I don't want to work that, hustling 18 hours a day, doing it the bread by myself, and then running to the farmer's market like I did in the past. Like that was a stage, and I learned from it. And hopefully I can create other and more businesses in the future that create value, and I can have capital, and I can invest into businesses that I don't fully own, but I believe in an idea and a project.
Right, just like people did for you.
Correct. So new stages are coming as I grow, and they all gonna happen in some way or another. Some of them earlier, later, but there is not just one plan. There is 100 because we are doing so many things. So it just
but you're gonna stay positive the whole time. That's guaranteed.
I mean, I was still real. I'm a positive, but I'm also a very realist. Like, otherwise, I cannot be. You cannot properly execute on anything.
For sure. You're not naive, I guess.
I think. I mean, I have a point of naivete for sure, but that's good too. Right. I guess.
Right. Nice, man. Well, thanks for sitting down.
Hey, no, thank you for.
This was awesome to catch up.
Yeah.
And I will be at a Brug bakery.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you.
Because I'm there like twice a month at the Ala Moana location.
Wow. I'll see you there. It was my pleasure.